All right, welcome Swamp Donkeys. It's John and Rick again. We're in the digital age now. Like this is something you've never seen from us before. So we've got a couple guests here tonight. I'm gonna just let Rick introduce them, and then we'll find out who they are.
Yeah, so we are super excited to have Brian and Kevin on the call here with us. And I just thought that maybe you guys, if you don't mind, just give us a little bit of a tidbit of who you are and the exciting news that you have for Swamp Donkey this weekend.
All right, well, my name is Kevin. I'm the race director of Eco Challenge, or the world's toughest race, Eco Challenge, as they call it on Amazon. And the big news is that myself, Brian Finestone, who you'll meet in a second, and Phil Gautier, who also works race management for Eco Challenge, we're coming to race the Swamp Donkey. So we get into Winnipeg on the 17th, and then driving right to the White Shells, and looking forward to meeting everybody on Friday and racing on Saturday. Couldn't be more excited. What do you say, Finestone?
I'm not going to lie. I'm actually a little bit nervous. This will be my first actual adventure race as a racer. I am the race coordinator for the Eco Challenge expedition races. The Fiji race, I was actually responsible for all of the mountain biking. So all that clay mud that people saw, that was me. So now ready to pay the piper myself and do some suffering, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm new. I'm green, and so I'm just here to learn and chase and try and keep up and try to keep my breakfast inside of my body.
That's incredible, guys. Like we of course we want to thank you guys for agreeing to do this. It all just it was kind of a happy accident, I think, right, Kevin? We posted a picture of Rick and I up on a helicopter up on the skids from a few years back, and you just made like a little comment. And next thing you know, we've got you guys coming out for Swamp Donkey. That's pretty incredible. Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting. And we were, Finestone and I were worried that after you kind of left that little eggshell teasing the athletes about, oh, there might be an Eco Challenge presence, we were worried that people were going to be so wildly disappointed that Bear Grylls wasn't showing up. So, hopefully people aren't too disappointed to see that it's just us.
Yeah, no, we're pretty darn excited. I mean, you guys have done a huge thing here bringing Eco Challenge back, and you know, I mean, obviously there's a huge amount of people involved in that production, but you know, we were just speaking off you know, just a few minutes ago about how even here in Manitoba in our race, we've seen such a resurgence in the energy and just the amount of people coming out of the woodworks who want to try adventure racing for the first time. It's been very exciting and, you know, pretty positive feeling. Yeah, especially, you know, given 2020 and all that we have to have to do so far.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and hats off to you guys to, you know, coming up with this plan about how to be COVID compliant in our new world or our new year in 2020. And we're super excited to support you in that mission and figuring out how we can still run these great races and events in this reality that we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And Brian and Kevin, we did see some posts on Instagram about Patagonia 2021 and the scouting already for that. Can you tell us a little bit of sort of maybe a little hint of what we've got in store for us for 2021?
Absolutely. So all of those scouting picks, just to be clear, they were, we got whisked home on kind of the last flights of Chile in March.
Wow.
And so we were, that was all prior to the COVID crisis that we're experiencing now. So yes, so we are, we've got a great course down there designed. We haven't completely tested it because we got our survey shortened while we're down there.
Right.
But we're definitely going to do some great kayaking, some amazing horseback riding, some unbelievable glacier travel through the ice and the crevasses, and maybe some rope work, some Tyroleans across the crevasses there. Some really amazing mountain trekking, And we're looking forward to amping up, just like you guys, amping up the degree of difficulty of our navigation this year. So it's it's a place that just being there is amazing. And then you lay on the layer of this course that we've created. Super excited. And I'm remiss to leave out the mountain biking that Finestone loves so dearly down there. So it's going to be amazing too.
Yeah,
Brian and you.
What I can tell you is that, you know, kind of in the words of Bear Grylls, people are going to suffer.
Or it's gnarly.
It is brutal.
We live in the mountains. We live in the Coast Range with, you know, what we think is harsh weather. Then we went down there, and literally at one point we crossed over this pass and I got blown over, was wearing a toque with a buff over top of it and a hood over top of that and a second hood over top of that. And the wind blew so hard that it ripped the toque right out from underneath all of the hoods and the buff. And it's somewhere near Antarctica at this point, probably. So it is unbelievable. So yeah, people need to strap everything down. It's gonna be a wild ride.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's good. That's good to know. And I think maybe Rick was going to touch on, like, you guys are coming to Manitoba for the Swamp Donkey, and people think that Manitoba is this flat prairie province. Well, where we do it out in the Whiteshell, we are in just amazing, amazing Canadian Shield. And the elevation gain loss, like, you guys both live out in BC. I'm living in BC myself now too. And we're used to like climbing up and down mountains, but the elevation gain loss on this Canadian Shield, like, rivals what we see in the mountains.
Well, it's just a lot of up and down, that's for sure. It's some great cross-country terrain.
We're looking at some of the videos dating back to 2015, 2012, like as far back as I could go, and looking at photos, videos, trying to get this kind of inside scoop and the feel for what it was going to be like and the type of suffering it was going to take. And it's great. So yeah, those your oldest assets. I've been all the way to back in time, as far back as the internet goes.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, awesome.
Done my best to prepare for it. So yeah.
Thanks, that's cool to hear. I'm looking forward to having you guys out here.
Yeah.
So, you know, Kevin, I happened to come across an article that was talking about, and I really resonated, you know, as a race director too, about it, and putting together like the pieces of the puzzle. You know, when we start to put together our courses, of course, they're across a much smaller, shorter distance than yours. But we always sort of start with like what we would like to call our, you know, our feature, or so the thing that we really want to expose, and we see if we can kind of build a race around it. And I really feel like it's a bit of a puzzle. And one of the challenges we have is, you know, and I notice this a lot in eco, is that you've got athletes of varied experience and even skill level. You know, I'm just kind of curious from your perspective, Kevin, like how challenging is it for you to put a race course together where you've got such varied skill level and experience for teams?
Well, I mean, it's a huge challenge, and that's an article in a publication called the Red Bulletin,
right?
By the energy drink Red Bull. It's a big challenge, but you know, it is also what makes our sport and Eco Challenge so amazing. Is it's the only sport where the best in the world share the same playing field as you know, the least experienced in the sport. And that's really what we do. That's one of the mandates that's passed on to Brian and Scott Flavel and I, is to create this journey that's going to trash the best teams in the world, give them a race course to race on, and then at the back end, give a course that's achievable, at least in theory, for teams with the basic requisite skills to compete in the Eco Challenge. And, you know, one of the big tools that we use, obviously, is the cutoffs and the time frame, right? So we expect in Fiji, we had the lead team finish in about 6 days, and at the back of the pack, they had about 10 and a quarter days to finish. So that time frame allows teams to travel at different paces, and less experienced teams or less conditioned teams to get more sleep. And those two things are really what makes it achievable to them.
Right.
But yeah, it's a big challenge. I mean, it's just one of the challenges too. It's like, we call them icons, you call them features. we want to link all these iconic places together. You know, the beautiful islands off the east coast of Fiji. And we got to link that to that amazing canyon where the Estonian team got trapped on the boulder.
Right.
And then we got to link it to the river, you know, kind of the only river that is reasonable to make your own raft and float it down. And really, we're trying to get to the whitewater rafting on the Navua River. And how do we do that? And it's this massive puzzle. You use things like the mountain biking, you know, to link these long distances to go from A to B is one of the big tools. It's a puzzle, but that's what makes it not a science. It makes it an art, right?
Yeah,
you gotta look at the map on the wall as the blank canvas and start linking it all together. And it's an amazing thing to be a part of.
I like that point that you made at the end there with it's almost an art. And we kind of joke sometimes that we're almost like the Wizard of Oz on race day. Like you pull back the curtain and we're just like pulling levers, more rain, more wind, more swamps, throw it at them. But it's all that lead up planning that you have to do in order to, like you said, make a race course that is still challenging for an elite racer, but achievable for a brand new racer. And like Rick had noted, we've got a third of our racers this year are brand new racers that have never done Swamp Donkey. And Ryan is one of them as well too. So
no, it's and it's also as you guys know, as race directors, you've got to have there's other factors in your mind. Can we get a permit to do this? You know, our race course in Fiji was 672 kilometers long. And you have to have permission to go through every one of those villages and every one of those lands and use every one of those rivers. Sometimes that permission falls out and you got to go back to the drawing board to route the race around it and things like that. You also have to have certain amounts of access, right? Points that you can get stuff in and people in and people out, you know, if the helicopter can't fly, you know, things like that. But these are all factors, and these all come into play, right? It's this massive puzzle, like he's saying, that it takes us a little over a year to the whole process of when you start looking at Google Earth and looking at maps of an area, and to when you say go to start a Eco Challenge race.
Now, I'm kind of curious for both you guys as the race directors of Eco Challenge, because I know how I feel when the race is about to start. It's like, you know, Kevin, you were talking about a piece of art. It's almost like unveiling your art, and you kind of, you know, you're anticipating what people are going to feel about it. Like, what is your feeling at race start there when you allow other people in to experience it now?
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like my nature is I've got to remind myself to enjoy it and not just be stressed out for 10 and a half days. So I actively try and remind myself of that, because my nature would be to just not enjoy it, because then it's easier for something bad to happen if you let yourself enjoy it, kind of thing, you know. But it is amazing. It's really rewarding. Like even that Red Bull article too. As soon as the first team arrived at checkpoint 1, I said to the guy that wrote that article, "Oh, this is proof of concept, right?" Because it just proves, yes, the boat worked, the guidebook directions worked, the checkpoint was in the right place because the first team found it, and then at least, you know, that's one of 32 checkpoints works. You kind of, you know, let your anticipation continue along the course like that, you know? But it's super fun. It's the best job in the world, to answer your question.
I know. Yeah, pretty jealous, not gonna lie.
A stress fest.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you guys, you know, we are looking forward to seeing you guys on the weekend and hope to chat with you a lot more. And yeah, just super pumped that you're coming. Can't thank you enough. And looking forward to sharing some of our Manitoba scenery and sights with you.
Well, for me, it's Kevin's great. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, guys, for this. We really appreciate it. I know we're going to get a lot of questions and a lot of comments from everybody, and they're just going to be excited on race day to actually meet you guys as well too, and see what you think of the Swamp Donkey Adventure Race.
Well, thank you both Rick and John for inviting us and having us there, and we couldn't be more excited. Like I say, we're traveling on Thursday and looking forward to enjoying friendly Manitoba and meeting everybody that you mentioned there, including some old friends like the Mans. And can't wait. Let's do this.
Awesome.